Members.
Right. Yeah. Oh. Crazy. Uh-oh.
Well, the Facebook can't go. What I said.
That's what it said. What do we have to do now?
Sweet. We are live. Hi, guys. What's up?
Try to connect. Hello,
Yeah,
everyone.
let me just try to connect one more thing here.
Said we lost access to our Facebook.
That's okay.
But, well, Dr. Ryan's working on that.
It's all good.
No? Okay. Well, we're going to carry on. We are live, though, YouTube and Insta. So let's take it. New product launch, which is very exciting. And this is something that has probably been the most requested.
It's been asked for a lot.
It just took us a while to actually commit to doing it.
Yeah, because that's my background. It doesn't have anything to do mostly with this.
Right.
Took a lot of learning and consulting and reading and studying.
Yes, but we know the need.
Crazy.
I mean, it's so important, and I can't wait to dig into it because I do feel like many people have no idea how necessary this is.
Yeah, look, a friend of mine is a specialist basically in this area. He's a microbiologist, and when he started opening my eyes to this, and it was like serendipity because we had already been in development of Parasite Cleanse, but then he started really pointing out the vectors, like obviously we all know the mosquito is a real, but like gnats and different things in different places, and we were together in a country, and he picked up on the guy that was there. It was a Bahamian. He was walking, had a club foot. He had some different things going on. Talked about his spinal surgery that he had just had performed, and it didn't make him any better. And the guy, my friend was there, diagnosed it. Basically, I know exactly what this is.
Right. So here we are, Parasites.
Yeah.
We're going to dig in today. But before we start, please make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you follow us, like our trainings, our posts, and share them. Sharing is the most important because that's how we spread the awareness and the education. And that's really what matters. So today's about the hidden health disruptor, why parasites matter more than you think.
That's right.
And, several years ago, and I think this is a thought for many, is we used to just think that parasites were in areas of poverty,
more third world, lack of good potable water.
Yes.
Right.
And
that's true.
If you still think that, yes, that part is true. But we are here to talk about how prevalent they are and how we all have them. And this is why we need to make sure we are taking care of ourselves across all levels. And the Parasite Cleanse is such an amazing addition to our product line. So let's think about this, our symptoms. What if we're constantly chasing these symptoms, such as bloating, gas, irregular digestion, fatigue, brain fog, sugar cravings, skin issues, hormonal imbalances? We're chasing those, but those aren't actually the root cause. And the root cause is always something I try to take an approach with. But there's many times that the root cause of what is going on has to do with some parasite infection. Is that how you say it?
Parasitic infection.
Yeah. Okay. So, so what I've found, again, we're chasing these symptoms individually instead of like the whole big thing and what could be driving all of them underneath. So this is not fear-based. We're not like trying to scare you. This is awareness and education and how we always will address things from a root cause approach because that's how it should be in all kinds of health and medicine. So the body is always communicating to us, always 24/7 communicating us. We just have to understand what it's responding to. And when it comes to parasites, honestly, it's hard. They're challenging to test for. You could say, oh, let's do a stool sample, but that stool sample, you're just banking on maybe a parasite being in that sample, right? So it's not always the case. There are other ways that, functional medical doctors do run tests, but again, it's very hard to know. So we feel strongly about routinely addressing this and taking care of yourself. And we'll get into that in a little bit of how to, our recommended dosing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the reality of parasites.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so like we said, more common than we think. So what are some things in our food? Like
you're talking about exposures. Where do you get exposed?
Where do we get them? Food. We know sushi.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
we all love
Oh, yeah, of
sushi.
course, raw food, right? Anything raw.
Undercooked meats, but like, I
Yeah,
mean, I love like raw red meat. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I love, I mean, it's just,
It's crazy how that.
yeah, it's just part of it. So in our food, very easy to get water, just drinking water. If it's not properly cleansed, maybe you have to drink from a water fountain because you're thirsty, that's where easy to get them from there. Travel. So anytime you're doing any, I guess international travel or travel in general, probably picking them up. And I think this is one of the most commons that people really don't, people overlook it is pets.
Mm-hmm.
And pets are a wonderful thing. We have dogs, we have lizards.
Oh, sure.
um, and I always encourage everybody to have pets, but we love them and we kiss on them and we hug them and they sleep in our beds or they lie in or whatever it is. They pick them up very easily, and then we easily get them from pets. And then
And look,
just
we treat them routinely, right?
pets.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
yeah.
course.
I mean, you treat them for parasites.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. They
their
take the
monthly
heartworm.
heartworm preventative, and
Yep, exactly.
but
Uh,
humans don't really do any heartworm preventative.
no, no. We just assume we're going to treat our pets and take care of our pets, but we're fine. But
Well, the equivalent of.
right.
Yeah.
And then just in general in our environment, they are everywhere. You talk a lot about being outside barefoot,
Sure.
which again we encourage, right? That's a sense of grounding.
Hmm.
It's really important to connect to the earth that way. But with that comes parasites, right? So yeah, and you think about your kids too. I mean, they're running in puddles and I mean, that's important. Like this is real life. So not just a third world issue. This is something we all are dealing with on a daily basis. And just note that too, parasites can be in your body for a very long time and kind of lie dormant. And then they, can come awake and wreak havoc on your system. So again, very important to just do a routine cleanse. Again, we'll get into that. Not, don't, this is not panic. This is not run and do this, but again, we're just addressing something about being routine. Okay. So okay, I just want to talk about what do you have about all our ingredients,
Yeah,
like
because
the
it's been a
specific.
while. It's been so
Yeah.
long in development. I had to go back and look at through the references that I had
Okay.
made and all that. So yeah,
All right. So first, let's just talk about why parasites disrupt so much, and then we'll get into
sure.
this beauty right here.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the parasite itself; it's what it does to our environment. It essentially is feeding on us.
Well, that's
So
what the definition, right?
that's a parasite. Yeah.
To harm the host and to benefit the parasite.
Yeah. So we're the host.
Yeah.
And it's definitely going to harm us because it's feeding on us. So they don't just live in the body, they influence how our entire body functions. They're not just there, they're actually doing something. And when we go to do these parasite cleanses, and many of them, people will say, or they've tried it, this doesn't work, whatnot. Sure, it's hard, first of all, to get rid of parasites. But a lot of times they only focus on one part of it, right? They'll focus on killing the parasite, but they're not supporting detox pathways. They're not repairing the gut. They're not working on elimination. They're not focusing on the eggs themselves, right? So it's important when you do a cleanse that you're touching all bases. Um, and a lot of times with these cleanses, people can feel worse, so they quit. And we're going to talk about some symptoms you may have when taking a parasite cleanse and how they're very normal and how I encourage you to push through. And right now, my mom is taking it, and she is because she has her functional medical doctor. We actually have the same doctor, but she has found
Mm.
parasites, in a stool sample, and I mean, so the fact that she's found them, it's very present. So we really are working on addressing it. And she's having these negative symptoms of like just headaches, nausea, fatigue. She said the other day she never
Mm.
naps. She said she was so tired. She actually had to take a nap. She just couldn't go on. So people stop because they're like, oh, this is awful. And I'm right now her cheerleader saying like, you got this, like,
Yeah, keep
right? Just
going.
one more month, you've got to do this. So yeah, that's a lot of times why they don't work. And then symptoms come back, right? So this is also something seasonally kind of we're going to talk about how we should address them.
Mhm.
So we talked about just killing. Killing isn't enough. the body has to process, neutralize, and eliminate. So it's not just killing the parasite, it's a whole process that has to take place. And this beauty, our parasite cleanse, is the formulation that really matters. And it's exactly how we approach this, right? To touch on all things. So let's go through and, well, first of all, I will just say, because I just pulled it up, our pricing is outstanding. So if you're a member, $12.95. I mean, that is insane. A month supply, $12.95. Retail price, $23.50. Still an insane price, but remember, we're always encouraging you to be a member and take advantage of our savings. And it's going to all just be found on the website. So let's go into some of the ingredients, and I'm going to lead with a few, and I want you to dig in a little more, right? So this is the ingredients that are like targeting unwanted organisms. You have black walnut, wormwood, and clove.
Yeah, the trifecta, the parasite protocol.
Yes. So
That's like the thing, right? Yeah,
right.
Exactly. That's
Classic.
That's classic.
Time-tested botanicals.
Oh yeah, no, I mean generations. It's a tradition. It's an herbal tradition, right? I mean, again, it's like you're saying, there has to be a certain balance and cleansing, but those three are the big ones, and they'll go for it. They'll hit your helminths, right, which are your pinworms, tapeworms, roundworms. It also now go after some of the protozoas. So I mean, there's a lot of great benefits in those three
And like the
herbs.
full cycle,
Yeah.
right? The full cycle.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is, again, extremely important. And then we have, on the other hand, we're supporting the microbial balance with oregano extract. And I get emails all the time. Are we going to come out with some
Oregano?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it really is important for the microbial balance.
Sure.
And I don't know how to say the
Bodiarco, yeah.
Bodiarco.
Yeah, and the artichoke. Pumpkin, oregano, bodiarco, and the artichoke. Those are the extra layers you're looking for, right? The antimicrobial, the gut balancing properties.
Helps with digestion and elimination.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting about pumpkin seed, how traditional it's been for helping like paralyze and eliminate the worms. Liver support with artichoke, digestive support, cleansing. You know,
Yeah.
it's because there is, like you said, the multiple life stages: eggs, the larvae, the adults.
Right.
So that's one of the powerful things about having, you know, that trio
Definitely.
of herbs.
And again, trying to cover all parts of all phases. If we can't eliminate properly, we're not truly detoxing, right? So again, that part of elimination that the artichoke and the pumpkin seed really help with. Not to mention a few of our other supplements that pull in there. Maybe we're gonna have to add this to the
detox.
Yeah. But we'll see. So again, why does this stand out? Like I just told you the price. Insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
Insane. Because,
And it's a very clean formula, right?
Yeah.
We talk about extracts. We talk about using the parts of the plants that are relevant.
and no proprietary blend.
No proprietary
You'll
blend.
see
Tell you
that.
exactly. We literally tell you exactly the extract, what part of the plant's used, how much of it's used. We only use organic rice hulls to substitute for some of those glidants like the magstearate and silica. So you won't see that on our label.
Yeah.
Very clean formula.
Yeah, definitely. Multi-phase approach, target, rebalance, eliminate, not overly aggressive. We don't want to be overly aggressive, right? We don't want to wreak more havoc on the body. And it's like designed for real world consistency. Because again, this is something we kind of always have to continue to address because we're always picking up these parasites and sometimes they're wreaking havoc, sometimes they're just there, but we want to make sure we're regularly eliminating them. And it's not just a kill protocol, it's a full support system for the body. So let's talk about, do you have more to say about the
really.
ingredients?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I got it. So
Yeah.
it's interesting though, because I actually got all. What's nice is having these resources. There is most of this stuff has been used in like Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine for centuries, right? But there is decent studies out there to show, and there's a lot in the pharmacokinetics and the mechanism of action of how these things work, especially in those three big herbs. And that was one of the things that I was going to put up a little bit of support of that on the website, but then I realized it's just probably a little bit too in the weeds. You start talking about definitely all of the different phenolic compounds and how they
going down
work,
rabbit
and like there's so many incredible compounds that are in these herbs, and they're well documented. It's actually pretty impressive when you start really getting into it. And again, not being used in the in the Western medicine protocols, it's kind of an ignored area, right, of medicine, where we've seen it traditionally used in different cultures, but over here, it's typically like it's a diagnostic process. You diagnose, you treat, and that process is hard to do. Like the diagnostic criteria is hard. They're not really looking for it as often.
Yeah.
Unless you, of course, are documenting, that you've been traveling abroad and you have exactly the symptoms that align with it, right? And then they'll treat you, right? And then you're on a prescription protocol, and that's another thing. We're not trying to tell you anything about how to treat, diagnose, cure, prevent, mitigate, or any disease process. If you guys actually truly believe you have a severe parasitic infection, obviously it would be best to seek out medical help and try to see if you can diagnose it and treat it with a prescription, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about, sorry, when I was printing my notes, it's kind of funky, my printer, and aren't friends all the time. Okay, so what to expect when taking this? Let's just talk about some of the symptoms.
Sure.
I just gave you my mom's experience,
Yep.
but I will also say my mom is sensitive to
Everything.
everything she
Yeah,
takes.
sure.
So she might be one of those on the more extreme case of it. Personally, for me, maybe just a little bit of fatigue, but nothing that's like extremely noticeable. So everyone responds differently. Again, some feel nothing, and some feel these notable shifts, and sometimes these shifts can come in like little waves. So let's talk about some things. I said fatigue,
Yep.
headaches,
Yep.
brain fog, and you might think like, gosh, I was having brain fog, and that's why I was wanting to do this. It'll pass. Okay, it's not forever. Digestive changes, whether you experience constipation, maybe diarrhea, things are changing. You might break out, right? Skin breakouts. We detox. It's part of the detox process as well. And you could have these like mild flu-like symptoms. A lot of times, this is what they call like die off, right? And it might happen to you, but it's not harming you. This is your body processing what is being broken down. Right? Remember, it's temporary. Your body is actively clearing, and ways that you can help minimize. Make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure you're resting. You're supporting your elimination, our organic fiber, liver support, our detox. Like these are all very important things to be doing at the same time. And just remember, like more is not better, but support your body properly. That's the goal. So, I would say, look, if you're taking this, it is 2 capsules a day. It's a 30-day supply. If you're feeling such strong symptoms and you had to like back down to 1 to like kind of coast through, that's fine. But the goal is to really tackle this in the 30 days. And there are different protocols that you can do, and I always encourage you to work with someone like well trained in parasite cleanses that can help you with the proper protocol for you. But again, let's just pull my mom for example. They found parasites, right? They are known to be there, and they're active right now. So she's doing it 3 months with a week off in between. I am a big fan of quarterly and trying to do that. I guess you're always going to hit a full moon. Right?
Yeah, well,
You're always going to hit a full moon
28
quarterly.
and a half days, right?
Yeah, so there's a whole, if you see it a lot online, like there's full moon parasite cleanses. What it really is just during a full moon, they're more active in your body, so sometimes they're easier to clear. But if you're doing it a course of the month, just make sure in that month you have that full moon in there to help with the elimination. So again, I'm a big fan of quarterly. But you could do. What would you say? I just don't think once a year is enough, because how are you addressing it if you're just addressing it once a year? Are you saying in the rest of the months you never ate anything possibly in a cook, you never drank any kind of water from anything but the super filter water, you never walked outside barefoot, you didn't touch a pet? You're not going to not do that in a whole year, right?
Yeah, I think that's sound advice. I think what you're saying is prudent.
Yeah, so think about quarterly.
Yeah.
And again, if you're thinking, well, gosh, I don't know if I have them. Start off with a 2 months. Take a full course, take a week in between, let your body kind of reset, do another, right? So you're just going to tackle it on top and then repeat quarterly. I have had a lot of questions about children. Now, this is dose for adults.
It is.
So it doesn't mean that children can't have the ingredients in here. It's just dosing is different. So you've got to talk to their pediatrician about this.
Right.
It's
a tricky one.
It is.
It's a real tricky one because, look, a lot of these powerful compounds, these terpenes and phenolic compounds and stuff like that, Like there is side effects. There are things that can happen. Like you just described a lot of it, right? Like that's not just always simply related to the die off.
Right.
A lot of times it can be the herbs.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the herbs, these herbs are treated as medicine in different cultures, right? I know when I keep saying that, I'm really, obviously we're here in America, but you know, people that have experience with it know that they use it the same way that we use it as medicine. They treat it with respect,
Right.
and they're cautiously they cautiously use it. It's not like just a willy nilly give it out, whatever thing, just because it's a so-called nutraceutical here.
Right. Yep. Definitely. Um, where else do I want to go with this? Oh, I already talked about this. Okay. If you suspect parasites, a little bit more aggressive.
Yep.
Best when paired.
Mm-hmm.
So, I said a few of this, but like you need to stay hydrated, guys. You have a hydration.
For sure you do.
higher.
Yes.
Water alone doesn't hydrate you. You've got to make sure you're hydrated properly. You're getting your minerals as well. It really helps support your body and your detox. Foundational 5. I bring this up all the time, right? Because this is your baseline support. Your body has to be optimized in that way. If you don't know what our foundational 5 is, it's a pack on our website. It is our multivitamin, vitamin D3K2, our ultra magnesium complex, our amazing factor 4, which is your omegas, your inflammatory support, and your probiotic gut support.
Yep.
So extremely important to have that foundation, and that probiotic gut support, again, rebuilding that microbiome. Like things are wrecking havoc, right? And then the organic fiber binds and helps eliminate these toxins. So it's a whole it's a whole body approach. And then of course in the liver support, that's part of the detox process. So you want to make sure you're supporting everything. So make sure you're taking all those, and then you're layering in the parasite cleanse when needed. And if you're like me and you want to just do it quarterly, just make sure you're continually taking everything else for the time in between. And this is not like overwhelming your body, right? It might sound like a lot, but this is actually supporting your body properly.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Right.
Yep.
All of our products are designed for a specific reason, and none of them will overwhelm your body. They can all be layered. They can all be stacked with each other. And I wanted to give a personal story of my experience. And now this was never confirmed, but I had 3 bouts of, I guess you would call it chronic appendicitis. And because it always resolved. And one time I did take myself to the hospital, but it always resolved. And like my white cell count was like a little bit off, but nothing, everything seemed to be okay. My functional medical doctor, after those 3 times, she said, "You know what? I wonder if you have parasites, parasites around your, appendix." And she put me on an aggressive protocol, and I haven't had anything since. But I love my doctor because of how she really looks at all different angles of addressing things from a root cause approach. And if you start to dig deep into the parasite world out there, you find these cases where the parasites can wrap around your appendix and cause these crazy things. So again, it was never confirmed that that's what it was, but it was just, sometimes that's how it is with parasites. So again, you're not necessarily seeing it, so you got to just make sure you're taking care of your body properly. I don't know. Found it all very interesting. And just again, if you start looking things up about parasites, you will go down a rabbit hole and you'll never stop, because I just find it so fascinating. Even more, and you'll realize even more importantly why this is so important for everybody to take on a regular basis, like quarterly. Yeah. So there were some questions. Someone had mentioned about the mosquitoes. They said, "Wait, mosquitoes cause parasites?" You were talking about your buddy.
He's all into it. Yeah, he geeks out on it big time.
But what was he saying about just like the mosquitoes just carry them? What else do flies?
Well, I don't. Again, see, the thing is, that's where I kind of have to say my training background has not been extensively done inside parasitic, infections, right? Like, but other than the obvious ones, like it's exactly like the stuff you would be treating with parasite or with prescription meds,
Right. Yeah. I mean, you'll just realize how they're more prevalent than you think.
Right.
And I've listened to some crazy podcasts
it was Plasmodium. That's what it was. That's the malaria.
Okay, this is looking about the mosquitoes.
That's the obvious one. Everybody knows that.
And I don't know where you guys live, but in Florida, we have a lot of mosquitoes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we don't like to treat for them too, right? Because we don't want to add the chemical to the yard.
The dog heartworm, they do it, but it's not a human parasite in any way. It's a nematode. Yeah, that's the thing. There's so many different ways to try to start to look at your exposures and worry about it. And I don't want people to do that. I don't want people to go
Right. Well, again, this is
crazy.
not like a fear-based thing. This is just a like I just wanting to open your eyes about how prevalent they are, and again, how we all need to do this, and just taking care of yourself quarterly with this is an amazing way to do it. Definitely something that I 100% practice ever since I've learned more and more. Um, there were some other questions up there, but I forget.
This one is an interesting here by Denise. She says, I'm seeing so much about parasites and cancer. What are your thoughts? Well, I can tell you that a lot of the
Mhm.
herbs are also anti, like they call them anti-neoplastics, and or they're anti, like they're like used in cancers in other cultures, which is so interesting. And I actually didn't bring those notes, but that's definitely something I was seeing quite a bit of. I was shocked by it. I was
Yeah.
shocked by it. Let me
Yeah,
see
I
if
mean,
I
my
can
doctor will
see.
say there's a definitely a relationship between parasites and cancer. And you know, another interesting thing, just talking about cancer, my mom also what was coming up on her blood work was her markers were up for cancer, and it was kind of alarming. So she did this big test that tests if there's any circulating cells. It was a very expensive test, and there was none. And that's what the doctor suspected. She's like, "Look, I think it's parasites, but let's just be sure because with cancer you don't want to you don't want to play around, so let's do that test first." And of course it was confirmed, not a single circulating cell, cancerous cell, but her all her markers were off because of the parasites. And I mean, my parents don't travel out of the country, they don't travel much at all, but they have pets. They like sushi, and they're barefoot a lot outside, they live in the Keys, so it's very easy, easy, easy.
There's an interesting from Chris said, as I was told by my doctor, I have a small parasite. He said not to worry though, that in the last 2 years I've had prostate, appendix, and gallbladder removal. Makes me wonder now.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, see, it's just so
it
crazy.
that's a interesting comment there
Yeah, I mean,
because
I was like they wanted to keep me overnight to possibly remove my appendix, and signed myself out of the hospital, and they said no because I was feeling better at that point. And yeah, I just had a feeling that like with the way I live my lifestyle, I'm like, how could something be wrong with my appendix? So it is just all very interesting. And I hope everybody first, if you're diagnosed with something or told something, like, take a step back and make sure you're addressing things from a root cause approach and trying everything. Yeah, it's very wild. Um,
there's so many cool things though. Like the Pade Arco is used is from the tababuya tree. Looking at wormwood, all the different benefits of wormwood, but it's a component of the alcohol beverage vermouth and absinthe. It's wild, man. There's just so many things where these compounds are used. It's absolutely crazy. I think Germany has.
yeah, someone was asking about they're just randomly having a colonoscopy tomorrow and taking the parasite cleanse after have a benefit. I mean, I don't think there's any necessarily, relationship there, but if you haven't taken a parasite cleanse, just wait until you're recovered from the colonoscopy and, start your month. Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm addressing because I know this is new to a lot of people, and it's just want to make sure we're touching it all. Information. Um, I mean, I know a lot of people are saying they're excited about this. I mean, someone's saying, "What's the evidence that we need this?" I mean, do the research on parasites and how prevalent they are. You know, it's not much more we can say than that. I don't know about this. Someone was asking about taking it maybe for more regularly to prevent parasites. I don't think it's not like a prevention, but if they're there, this will help eliminate them. And remember, they can be in your body for a very long time and just like dormant and not do anything until they decide to wake up and start using you. as a host. Yeah, there's a lot of podcasts out there on this too, so great to listen. Again, I told you, you'll go down a rabbit hole once you start. Once you start, it's hard to stop, but it is pretty cool. So, yeah, I think that's about it. If I didn't get to your question, there are a lot today, a lot of great comments. So, make sure you email me, but share this, guys. Share this episode with friends, with loved ones, especially knowing that they can easily get this from Live Good, and our price is phenomenal. Because a lot of times these come with a hefty price tag, and it's really nice that we can bring it to you without the hefty price tag. And again, making sure that we don't have a proprietary blend, because I do see this on a lot of parasite cleanses. They list all these like herbs and you have no idea how much. So you don't know if it's dosed properly. Dosing matters in everything that we take. So yeah, check it out.
All right, guys. We're all set then. We'll see you next time. Thank you
Bye.
for watching.
Thank you.
Later.